So welcome to Suitcase Divas podcast. This is episode 32. My name is Denise Diabaldi with Redbirds Travel.
And I'm Cheryl Garcia with ABCD Adventures.
Yeah, and we have a special guest, Brian Groff. Hello, Brian. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me, ladies.
Yeah, so this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about and in the past, we've talked about travel trends and things and people working more remotely. So we're going to talk about a digital nomad. If you do not know what a digital nomad is, it's kind of like people that are able to work remotely, utilizing the internet to perform their jobs. It gives them freedom to travel and be in different locations around the world and flexibility for adventure. This is right up Brian's alley, correct?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So how did you start out on your digital nomad journey? Like what led you to be able to work remotely and go to different places?
So I've always worked for myself. I've always been self-employed, but about a year and a half ago, I became a travel agent, and it's just been since then that I learned that it doesn't matter where I go or it just gives me that flexibility,
So,
and
but where's your home base?
so my home base is Ohio.
Okay.
That's where I was born and raised, and I grew up there. My mom's there, my brothers, my sister, all my family is in Ohio. But I consider the world my home base, really. But
Nice. I love it. So what would you say, because if you are traveling, what would you say are like some pros and cons to being a digital nomad and kind of going from place to place for your work?
I would say pros is got to be able to see the world, meet new people.
Absolutely.
I have friends all over in just about every state, some overseas from meeting people in Disney and Universal. I've got some friends in Brazil now.
Nice.
Met them at Universal. It was pretty cool. A guy lives in Rio. So it was pretty cool meeting him. I told him I was going to make it out to Rio someday. Just
If you
because that's
meet
one
that
of my
many
favorite
great
movies.
people, you can go crash in Rio and go crash in Dubai. That's not a bad problem to
Absolutely.
have, correct?
Absolutely, right? So, yeah, it just, along with the pros, you're able to do that. And being a travel agent, you're able to go and visit where you want to visit. And that's where you want to create them experiences that you can share with other people. That way you have firsthand knowledge of that place. So that's what kind of gives the freedom to be able to do that. Cons is, when you're traveling, sometimes you don't have your family right there next to you. You're out, trying to make, ever since COVID, it's been kind of hard with, taking care of the bills and everything else. So everybody tries to find that extra dollar out there,
Mm-hmm.
and the bills don't quit coming as much as we all wish they would.
Right.
But I think that's the number one con, is not having my children right there next to me and being able to do it. One day I hope to share this with them and them travel with me so I can show them the world. But right now they need that stability and be in one place. So
School.
Right.
Get them through school, get them off that. Well, one good thing I will say as an agent, and this, and is you get to travel for significantly reduced fares, like with our Marriott fantastic rates and all that stuff. It's almost like it's amazing, right?
absolutely it is. I mean, not to mention the Go Wild Pass flying for $15 location to location. So
all right, well, we're gonna have to discuss that a little bit
Right.
more.
Yeah. I don't think we know too much about that one. You'll have to fill us in.
We
So
did hear about going up to the ticket counter on Tuesdays. We're going to check that out next week.
So I've never done that. I've never bought a ticket inside the airport.
Nor have we, but we're going to see how it goes.
They say it's cheaper, that you can get really reduced rates.
They call them penny fares. I'm sure it's not pennies. It's definitely dollars.
Yeah, but they don't charge you certain fees that they charge you when you buy it on your phone. But even with the Go Wild Pass, it's $15.
Now, is that correlated to one airline?
Yes, it's Frontier.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's
Yep.
good to
And
know.
like, and they'll sell a month pass. So if you are like, you know what, I'm only going to travel in the month of June, but I need to fly like 6 different places, you're going to save so much money, right? Um, or you can do a summer pass, or you can do an annual pass. And it actually started today with
May
the
1st.
annual and the summer pass, May 1st. So, yep, I actually had a friend of mine that's an agent as well up in Michigan, and I showed her the Go Wild Pass, and she uses it to fly from Detroit to Orlando all the time. And she called me last night and she's like, guess what I did? I bought my annual or my summer pass, and I'm going to be flying to Orlando tomorrow for $15. I'm like,
That's
have fun. Now
crazy.
it only includes your personal item.
Mhm.
As far as your luggage, you got to pay, for your carry on and your checked bag. But I pack in a backpack personally when
I was
I
like, you
do
seem
that.
like you could
So
travel light. Cheryl and I might need a little lesson on that because we
Yeah.
do not fucking travel light.
you should have seen the time that me and my kids traveled to Disney with backpacks. We went for like 7 or 8 days, and I told the kids, I'm like, you guys have to pack in a backpack. And I have 3 girls, 7, 13, and 17. So imagine me telling 3,
Right.
That'd
daughters.
be difficult.
Yeah, it was, but they did it. I was so proud of them. They did it, and we were able to travel like that. So it was really cool.
And
That's
that's such an
awesome.
awesome skill to learn at a younger age because, as Denise said, when we're out and
It'll
about,
come in handy later in life.
it's really hard when you're used to taking everything you want to try to bring it down to just a carry-on or a backpack. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been investigating those travel backpacks that you can just pack like your whole weekend. We might have to get you back on here to walk us through how to pack like that.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
Right.
I sure can. I'm gonna try out this year. I don't have too many flights planned this year, but when I do, there's a bag. It's like $100, and I forget what they call it. I got to look it up again. But it's a hard suitcase with removable wheels, and it'll fit in the personal item box at the airport in Frontier's thing. So a lot of people travel with that.
Oh yeah,
I'll
definitely
have to,
check that out and let us know what that is.
For
yeah.
sure. Right. I still don't feel like I personally could do that, but I mean it's a challenge that I might take on at some point in my life. I'm not promising anything right now. I'm just saying I like the concept and maybe one day I'll get there. But so you've traveled a lot of different places. What would you say that your favorite place that you've been to or that you've traveled to?
Favorite place or travel to? Man, there's so many of them.
I know it's tricky. You could give
It's
us a top
really
three if
hard.
you want. If you can't narrow it down to one, you could give us a top three.
So I just this past weekend came from Savannah, Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to say that
Gorgeous.
one place that I would like to go back to and explore more
Mm-hmm.
would be Savannah, Georgia. There's so much
Yeah.
history there.
Yeah.
Everything's so close that you can almost walk everywhere.
It
So
is a
you
very
can
walkable
park, and
city. Mm-hmm.
it's very walkable city, very welcoming city. And it doesn't it what's I was telling somebody that I was on the trip with, I said this kind of gives Key West, um Nashville, and Orlando vibes all in one.
Okay, that's a good
So
description.
It is,
yeah,
yeah, but it's an older city. So you definitely get the history, the cobblestone
right,
streets, you're right on riverfront. Like it's definitely got its own vibe, but
absolutely,
it's very eclectic. I feel
right,
everything you're saying for sure.
yeah. So there was just so much, and there's not a lack of things to do. you
Mm-mm.
know
Right.
Whenever you travel somewhere, it might be spread out and you're wondering what to do, or I will tell you this much. I've heard that Nashville is the top spot for bachelorette parties, and I've visited Nashville, and I've been on Broadway, and at night and during the day. I've never seen as many bachelorette parties as I have this weekend in Savannah.
Savannah's the new hotness.
I
Nashville's
really
overplayed, and so
I
Savannah's the new
really,
hotness.
I really think Savannah is going to grab that spot from Nashville.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with Nashville. I've been there too. I love Nashville, but there is a history and it's just a if you've never been there, it's almost like going back in time with the how the cobblestone and the buildings. It's just
Right.
got such a rich history.
Mhm.
And there's a
Yep.
lot of ghost tours and stuff. If you're into that type of deal, then that is
There is.
very trendy.
I did the
There
ghost
is.
tour in Savannah at night. Actually, it was a bar hopping ghost tour, which was
Even
really
better.
fun. Yeah, you got to go to different bars, get a drink, and then they'd either tell you something about that particular place, or along the walk they'd stop and tell you the ghost while you were enjoying a beverage. So
And now
that
Brian
was
does
fun.
not drink, so he's a great designated driver if you ever needed one.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You're
Yep.
everybody's best friend.
That's what everybody knows me for. Once you get to know me, they, if you've hung out with me, everybody will be like, no, he doesn't drink. And everybody looks at me, they're like, what? Like, nope, I'll hang out with you. I'll party with the best. But nope, sober guy here.
That's all right. Everybody
make sure-
Somebody's got to
designated
be
driver. Yeah.
I'm a designated babysitter. I told him in Savannah, because we were walking a lot of places, I was telling the people at the bars, I said, I'm the designated walker.
Yeah.
Because we
You
wasn't
gotta
driving.
herd them all, and especially
Well,
Oh.
and so the
places
one
are
thing about
smaller.
Savannah is you could, because you can bring drinks. Like if you buy a drink and you can go out and walk about with your beverage. So you probably did come in handy for some people there.
It was the craziest experience, because we were walking out of a bar with them holding drinks, and then you could walk 2 bars down and walk in the next bar with said same drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they didn't care,
Right.
and I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, this is kind of cool. So
Yeah, and
I
more
will
and
tell
more
you.
cities are doing that.
So I will tell you that for the first time in my life, I played beer pong. It was in one of the bars, and they're like, "Oh, we need a team." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not drinking." They're like, "It doesn't matter." We wasn't drinking anyways. We were just playing the game for the game. But I played it for the first time, and we actually won. So I was pretty excited for that. I was like,
Nice.
"Woo!" Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I would say you would be a good partner to have, because after you've had a few bevies, your aim can be off a little bit, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'll be on your team, and then you just are doing it because
You're the one that, what do
You're
they
the
call it when
secret
they
weapon.
get the ringer? Is that what it's called? What is it when they have that secret person come in? So they bring you in because you can slam dunk the game. I can't remember what that's
Right.
called.
I
But
don't know.
yeah, you're their hidden I'm not to think of that word.
I'm just gonna call you a hidden weapon.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Well then,
Yeah.
I gotta say, when you say my favorite place to travel, so I gotta say that's pretty high on the list right now, because it's kind of new, and it's really neat.
Fresh in
Like
your
it
mind.
really, it's fresh in my mind, but it really impressed me. When you go somewhere and it really has a great impression on you, that
Mhm.
one definitely did. Going there, and not gonna lie, I mean, it didn't hurt that there was Savannah banana,
Oh, did you
stuff
get to see them?
everywhere.
Did you get to see?
No,
Oh,
no, and I'll tell you what, my daughter, my 13-year-old Stephanie, she wants to see them so bad, and I've tried and tried and tried. I've been on every website. I've tried getting in the queue for it. I've tried everything and haven't been successful yet, but I will get tickets for us one of these days.
yeah, they actually came
It's on your
here
bucket
to
list.
us right outside. I think they came to Kannapolis, and the tickets were gone like that because I wanted to go as well. And I'm not a huge base, but I would go and sit and watch because I watched their TikTok.
Yeah,
Right.
you know what? We should look at the Kannapolis Intimidator schedule, because they come here and play us, and then you could come here and hang out with the Suitcase Divas and see the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that would be amazing. But if anybody knows me, they know that my happy place is Disney. So
Yes.
I've got to say Orlando is definitely, I'm gonna say that's at the top of the list.
Yeah, that makes
Aw.
sense.
Yeah.
I hear that. It is
So-
the most magical place on earth, after all.
Right. One of the interesting things we learned about you was your volunteer work with Irreverent Warriors.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because we were so
super cool.
interested in what you do with them and what their purpose is.
So Irreverent Warriors is a veterans nonprofit organization that works to come together and create these events to battle the number. If you've never heard the 22 a day, that's how many. I'm trying not to break up here when I talk about it, because
I hear you.
it gets me every time I even think about it. So there's 22 veterans or service members a day that are taking their lives, and it's absolutely just astounding to even think about it.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. And so they come together through camaraderie and humor to try and battle that and help mental health
Yes.
within our vets and service members. And I'll tell you, it's an absolutely amazing organization. I got introduced to it in December, and a friend of mine, her husband's a vet, and she said, "Man, you've got to come down here and volunteer with us. We just would love to have you." And so I went to Key West, and that was my very first event, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah,
And I
that's
tell people,
amazing.
it's so amazing because, you know, and I'm a very big positive person as far as motivation. You know, when I see somebody that's down, I'm like, "Hey, look, you know, let's get you up. What do we got to do?" You know, so I have found in my life that I really enjoy filling other people's cups, and in turn, it fills mine just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
That makes
so
sense.
that's just an amazing thing that I've been able to learn within my lifetime, and this organization, it's became my family as well. Just like the travel agent family, I have my IW family,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing. It's a very, very awesome organization,
And
and
we'll definitely put the link in down there.
Right.
And I
So
appreciate what you do, because yeah, my dad was a vet. Cheryl's her
I was just
husband,
about to say, yeah, this was when when you told
close
us
to our
about it,
hearts.
it is close to our hearts because I come from a long line of military. I was married, my husband was in the military, my dad, my brother, my grandparents, my uncles. Like it was, military's been throughout my life. I grew up in the military. So I do want to tell our listeners, I looked up this site, and so much of it, when I was reading their mission, their vision, I was so impressed with their purpose, but also the way they try to make it a lighter, because it is such a heavy topic.
It
That
is.
one of their goals is to use, like you said, humor and camaraderie and all of that to lift people's spirit. And I think you're a perfect representation of that, because
Absolutely.
you are so cheerful, and always kind of the times we've been together hanging out and stuff, you're right, you're getting everybody pumped up, and it's just natural. I think that comes natural.
You're the hype man.
Yeah, that's the word.
right.
But I do want to read to just let our listeners know what the Irreverent Warriors vision and mission statements were, because I really thought they were interesting. So their vision is to unite veteran community and drive a culture within its members. Through creative engagement events and strong veteran-based support networks, we are the catalyst for improving outlook. And their mission is to bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and prevent veteran suicide. So, and one of the things they talk about is that they like to do a lot of things together. So they have on their website events and how to support. And like you mentioned, you just did a hike, and their hike is to, like, I think it was 100 cities. Was their goal? Well, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know what their goal is. I just know that they want to try, like right now I believe they have one just about every Saturday somewhere.
We have
So I
one
believe
close to us coming in September. I marked that on our calendar, so hopefully Denise and I can volunteer. So we have one in Pinehurst down, so it's not too far from us, that hopefully we can get involved with. But where
listen,
you
if
just
you
at? You just did one as well, or volunteered?
Savannah, that's
Oh,
where,
that's
yeah,
right.
that's where I
Okay.
came from, was Savannah. Yeah, we had, I want to say it was between 130 to 150 show up.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
They do them, like I said, they do them all over the place. They're going to have in Orlando in October. I know the one coming up this weekend, I believe, is in Fort Worth, Texas on May 4th. So they're all over the place, and anybody can volunteer. If you're not a service member, they only allow the vets to hike. It's not it's not a family event. They don't, well, bring your cousin and your brother and your mother, unless they are service, men or women as well. But it's absolutely amazing. I mean, I can't say enough about it. I wish I could do one every weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
how amazing it is. Just to make sure. I will tell you a story. Last weekend of a gentleman had come up and for the first time had hugged me, and he said, "Thanks for helping put this on," because he said his commander had told him he needed to be there because he said that he almost became a statistic himself.
Yeah.
And he was crying on me, and it just, it really hit home, and it just
Yeah.
told me that, this is the work, this is where I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? So
For sure.
it's really awesome. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I'll tell you, they become family. Once you do your first hike, I will warn you though, it will change your life in a way that you will continually want to volunteer, as much as you can. So
That's awesome. So we will make sure we get that information out to our listeners so they can, because they do have a cruise for a cause coming up, and then they had
Yep.
on their website ways to donate, volunteer, and sponsor. So we will definitely get that info out, and hopefully maybe we can get some representation every weekend and make sure they're covered for their volunteers. So this is such an amazing thing that you guys are doing.
Agreed.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Brian. We're just about to wrap that up. We just wanted to make sure we let you know how much we appreciate your support.
We do. You've been
everything
such
that
a
you
rock
do.
star.
Thank you.
Handing out, telling everybody about us, handing out business cards. We absolutely do appreciate it. Like we met you at a work function at regionals in Orlando. And you were just like lit up the room and were super friendly. We hung out at Icon Park with that big group, and it was just so much fun. So I do agree, like being a travel agent has its perks, and meeting really cool other agents is definitely one of them. So
Absolutely. The
we
family
definitely feel
grows
like you
by the
came into
day.
our life for a reason.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so there we have it. That's Brian, and we're definitely going to give out the information for Irreverent Warriors too, because it is a definitely valid cause. And go out, look it up, and participate, volunteer, donate.
Whatever
Worthy
you can
cause.
do. Yes.
And if you have any vets or service members in your family, please share, because the more we can get this out there, the more people we can help that's out there that needs it, and the bigger we grow, the more people we're going to be able to touch, and that's going to be a positive, so
Absolutely. All right, guys, have a great day.
Bye, guys.